Boom and salam, good people of the earth. Welcome to another video from Write Off Chronicles. I'm Kay and this is another interesting one. Before we go ahead, I do have a little disclaimer. If you or anyone you know suffers from mental health, please seek professional help and reach out to the people in your support network. Without further ado, let's get into it. So this is the story of Norah Vincent, a brave woman who went undercover as a man and it broke her. In winter of 2003, Norah Vincent, a 35-year-old journalist and modern feminist, began living her life as a man. Only meant to last 2 years, the social experiment was about to change her life forever. Little did she know her journey to learn about male privilege and toxic masculinity will end up with her checking into a mental hospital. Sadly, the experiment ended early due to a heartbreaking revelation. Norah managed to pull this off with the help of her makeup artist friend, and she learned to simulate stubble. She did a whole heap of changes. She cut her hair short and bought rectangular framed glasses to show more masculine features of her face. She hit the gyms to build up muscles, and she also bound her breast with a sports bra and wore a jockstrap stuffed with a prosthetic limb to give the appearance as a male. And finally, Norah trained for months with a vocal coach who taught her to deepen her voice and slow it down, to lean back as she spoke rather than leaning in. Then she ventured out into the world to live as a man for 18 months, calling herself Ned, and to chronicle the experience to be part of the masculine society. Her first venture was joining a bowling team, where she wasn't very good at all, but her male teammates were encouraging and tried to help her get better. Even though they thought Ned was a little bit off because she wasn't throwing with the same energy as the men, they still encouraged her to be part of the group. As the social experiment was progressing and she became actual friends with her teammates, she confided in one of them, Jim, and revealed her secret, which did not go as she expected. Later, Jim told the rest of the team, who all took it well, but were surprised as to what she expected to find in a bowling alley full of guys. She was expecting a bunch of guys just talking about women's private parts and a bunch of racist misogynists. Norah's first realization of being judgmental came at this point. It really showed her up as being the judgmental one because they took her in not knowing anything about her. They were the ones who made her their friend without no judgments attached. Norah wanted to also have a go at dating, so she hit the bars, dance clubs, even strip clubs to talk about her sexual experiences, and even tried to date women as a man so she stays in her role. Throughout the experiment, Ned had a shot at the art of picking up a woman. This is one of her experiences. Norah's other major realization was when she tried to hit on Barbara, a lady in a cafe who was waiting for her friend to come back from the bathroom. She, being Ned, couldn't bear the rejection she received from the unknown lady, and Norah was reminded that in this arena it's women who have all the power. This is what Norah had to say about the experience. We sit there and we just, with one word, know we'll crush someone. And the thing is, we don't have to do the hard part where you cross the room and go up to a stranger and say the first words. And those first words are so hard to say without sounding like a cheeseball or sounding like a jerk or whatever else. Norah says the brush off Barbara Jones gave Ned was typical. She was just sort of emblazoned with hostility, just looked at you and you saw everything cross her face, which was, oh God help me, not again, I'm just trying to have a drink with a friend and I've got to deal with you, hoping to get rid of Ned before her friend returned. However, there is a twist to this. Check out what happened when Ned returned as Norah. Norah told the truth to Barbara about her gender and took it to a woman. Barbara seemed more open and friendly in the end, actually apologized about how she had treated Ned. I'm sorry for being bitchy, was her response. Norah discovered quickly that most men treat men like garbage. As the project went on, she started disliking women, and this was really wearing on her, especially tough because she's also a lesbian herself. They don't have a voice and they suffer in silence. We have no compassion for men and don't appreciate them enough. She discovered that banter between men is a good way of admiration for each other. It's kind of like a brotherhood. Her view about the world was starting to fall apart. Even something as simple as buying a car was totally different. The sales pitch was more about performance and statistics for men, and when she returned back to the same salesman later as a woman. It was a little more flirty and it focused on her feelings about the car. She has done several other things, and this is available in her interview with the ABC show 2020. I'll leave a link to that below in the description somewhere. You should definitely watch it because it's a sad, heartwarming and very brave story at the same time. Also talks about the natural drive for men to have sex as well and things along those lines. By the end of her experiment, she had a huge breakdown. It was a lot of the lying and keeping up the appearance, but the main thing that broke her is how hard it is to be a man. Norah talks in a lot of details about how this was frustrating, powerless and lonely. She checked herself into a mental hospital and stayed in there for quite a while. This completely broke her and she never really recovered. She never really came to terms with her radical feminist ideas and how that didn't line up with her actual experiences as a man. Unfortunately, she passed away recently. She died in a clinic in Switzerland where medically assisted suicide is legal. This happened in 2022, which is not necessarily relating to her experience, but it did cost her sanity. An incredible and sad story, but I truly have admiration for her bravery to do something like this. She wrote a book about it in 2006. I think it's called Self-Made Man. Check it out if you ever want to have her experience fully. Ladies, we men are not bad. It's unfortunate that it came at the expense of her mental health, but ladies, this is the reality behind male privileges that only belongs to a small percentage of men. And once she found out that the overwhelming majority of men are regular, hardworking, good people, it almost broke her. You can look at this from different perspectives, and that it's really hard to be a man. You've got loads of responsibilities and expectations, and it's hard to be a man even if you are a man because you come with conditions. And if these conditions are not met, you become valueless in society. But it's impossible to be a man if you're a woman. Our bodies and brains work completely differently. In this case, she didn't have to alter her physical appearance permanently, or she didn't have to shove hormones down her throat or inject them into her body. She just reprogrammed her brain, put on different clothes and lowered her voice, and it broke her as a woman. Her message to us all about men is: men are hurting, they need us and they need each other. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, hit that subscribe, like and opinions in the comments below. Share it if you're in the mood. Your support will help hugely, as usual, of course. See you in the next one. Look after yourselves and each other. Peace and love. Boom.